The Nintendo Switch 2's name just leaked and it sucks. That seems to be the case. We've been waiting and so excited to find out what this thing will be called, to give us any hints, such as the features it might have. But evidently, the name may have just leaked, so let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
Hey everyone, Joey here with a quick news update as the name for Nintendo's next console might have accidentally just been leaked by a YouTube survey. Either that or it's a strange typo. So we got an email from a fan named Aaron which linked to a Reddit post on the Switch subreddit from user Nanhino, saying that they got this really weird questionnaire when trying to watch a video. So this survey asked, which of these gaming products would you consider buying? PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, or Switch Attach? What name is that? Is this just a strange typo? Did they, for some reason, add attach at the end of this? Like, what's going on here? Now, if this was the name of Nintendo's next console, how would YouTube or Google already know the name of it? Well, if Nintendo is planning to release this console within the next year or so, then chances are they're already talking with other companies into marketing this thing. That includes Google. And let's not forget that rumors pointed to a March reveal for this system, but that was before the rumors of the system being internally delayed to March 2025. But as for me, do I think this is the name of the next console? I really don't think so. For one, it just doesn't sound like a great name. Switch Attach? That sounds more like an accessory to the Switch than an actual Switch successor. It's kind of like if they called the successor to the Wii U. If this was the name for the system though, what are we attaching to it? Maybe another Switch to make it a dual screen system? That kind of reminds me of our April Fool's Day joke last year. I guess we really were ahead of the game. But in the end, I don't think this is the name of the next Nintendo Switch. I really think it would be risky for them to call it anything else but the Nintendo Switch 2. I think Switch 2 is the safest thing they could absolutely call it. If they call it something as vague as a Switch Attach, that's another Wii U situation on their hands, and they do not want that. But what do you think? Is this the name of the next Nintendo console? Let me know in the comments.
Me personally, I think this actually could be real. And I'll tell you the reason why. Nintendo is known for doing these types of things. I mean, think about the name the Switch initially. Who would have called something the Switch? When you think about the Switch, first, you don't really say, I like the name the Switch. What has really resulted in people liking the name the Switch is because of what it does. The feelings that it makes sense. You can turn it into, 1 minute it's a handheld, the next minute it's a home console. This is, and they kept it simple. But this is the type of thing Nintendo would do. Switch Attach. That actually could be real. Okay? And Nintendo is looking at the long term. They're not looking at the short term, they're looking at the long term. What does it do? Will people understand what it does very quickly? It attaches to different kinds of things. So, for example, honestly, I think that it may attach to, for example, like an AR headset, like a headset. So, for example, turning into a VR headset or augmented reality headset, probably VR headset is probably one of the next big things. The metaverse is huge. It's going to be very, very big. And Nintendo has to think ahead. Like, for 5 years from now, the metaverse will likely be much larger than it is right now. Right now, it's just beginning to, take shape. Mark Zuckerberg has been building it out for as long as he possibly can. That's the reason why he changed the name to Meta. For many of you that don't understand this, this whole push for the metaverse, this is not for me and you. The metaverse and these headsets and all of this stuff, this is really for Gen Alpha. Yeah, this is for Gen Alpha and maybe a bit for Gen Z, but this is for Gen Alpha and Gen Beta, the generations that come after Gen Alpha, that come after Gen Z, that come after Gen Alpha. This is for these lunatics. This technology is designed to have people spend more of their lives in cyberspace than anywhere else. If you look at the way we live our lives, we spend most of our lives in cyberspace. So the next goal is, I shouldn't even say cyberspace, the metaverse. And the goal is where people, it's kind of like basically living in the Matrix all the time. It'll be kind of a reality where people will live, sleep, even eat in the metaverse. You're like, eat in the metaverse, yes. Where people will want to have their meals in the metaverse. They're not going to want to eat even in reality. They're going to want to eat in the metaverse. What will that look like? There's a variety of different ways that it could take shape and form. But people are going to want to spend their entire lives, Gen Alpha and Gen Beta, they're going to want to spend their entire lives in the metaverse. They're not going to want to disconnect. They're going to begin working in the metaverse, doing their jobs in the metaverse, watching videos in the metaverse. While for some of us, for like me and you, it could feel claustrophobic having a headset on all the time and being locked into this reality. For them, it will be second nature. You have to understand that Gen Beta, they're going to start, this group of good for nothings, they're going to be born very soon, starting like I think what 2025, 2025, 2026. That's when the first generation. That's when Gen Alpha will basically take its lot. That's the end for them, and Gen Beta will start being born. You have to understand within 5 to 10 years, this will be a huge. This will be a pretty well, not a huge generation, but there'll be a sizable generation, and advertisers will be looking at this generation. And what are parents going to do? They're going to start putting these headsets on their kids, just like how Gen Z and Gen Alpha were handed iPads and smartphones. That's what's going to happen with Gen Beta. You're going to be given headsets, like from the very beginning. As these things become cheaper and cheaper, parents are just going to start slapping these things onto their children. The Gen Beta will be the first generation to be born into a world where the metaverse has always existed. You know, this is very very significant. And headsets. People slapping on these headsets will become normal during their lives. So parents are going to start putting these headsets onto their children. Oh my goodness, and immersing them in these realities. This is an app that'll teach them how to learn very quickly, and the media will of course jump in and start promoting this trash. And before you know it, this is how they're going to be operating. They're going to spend most of their lives locked into this reality. I've already said this, that many Gen Alphas will never work. They will never work a normal job a day in their life. I've already like this is a fact. Many Gen Alphas will never work a normal job a day in their lives. And when it comes to Gen Beta, it's going to be even worse. Like Gen Beta is going to make Gen Z look like uh look like the silent generation, or should not even not the silent generation, the greatest generation. The silent generation were the parents of the boomers who spoiled those bastards way too much. No, the greatest generation, which is basically the WW1 generation. Yeah, they're gonna make them look like the greatest generation. What, like, that's just how bad Gen Beta is going to be, the generation that comes after Alpha, which is the generation that comes after Z. And you're like, and now of course there's probably some Gen Z jerks in here like, see that angry? There's always someone worse. We're not that bad. No, you guys are horrible. You guys are totally you're terrible, terrible. The word scumbag is a synonym for Gen Z. Just because there's something worse doesn't mean that you're not awful. Okay, doesn't mean you're not awful. Gen Z is an awful generation. All right, they are of Satan. But Gen Beta is going to be a generation that is, they very well may be the first generation to become, fully trapped in the, like, in the metaverse, and basically something out of the Matrix, where these people basically became trapped in the, they were trapped in the Matrix. Like, that's going to be, but they're going to put themselves there. And there's going to be a term that emerges called, meta head, or met head for short, representing the metaverse, where these people who basically spend all their time in the metaverse are losing touch with reality. Guys, we should. I mean, at this very moment, I guarantee you, there are already terms being developed to. There are already terms being developed, bro. I have a master's in psychology. I should probably just start writing it up already. But there's already people doing it. Terms to describe people who get lost in the metaverse and develop anxiety when they're disconnected from the metaverse. And it's not going to be hard. You can figure out what the symptoms are going to be, and all of this other nonsense right now, just like with any other form of addiction. And then you can start looking at treatments to deal with this. And of course there'll be drugs like the SSRIs, of course, and then there'll be the benzos. This it's not a genius. It's not a genius. The pharmaceutical industry, the medical industry, the psychiatrists, all of the PhDs, they're already working. They're already working on this. Medical scientists are already working on this. To create an entire industry around the meta heads. Who are going to be lost in the metaverse. Yeah, it's a hell. It's hell on earth, guys. What do you guys think about the name, the Nintendo Switch Attach? I think that it's very possible. The Nintendo Switch Attach. What do you guys think about the name? I think that it's not bad. I think that it's very, very possible. I think this could actually be the name, even though there are a lot of people saying that this is not going to be the name, bro. I think it could actually be the name or something very similar, that tells us that goes along with that goes along with it. Maybe it's not the exact name, but but it's probably going in in this direction, like Nintendo Switch Dock, or Dock or Connect, Switch Connect, or or Switch View, something like that. They're probably fishing. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments regarding the name of this, what you think about that, and we'll talk about it there. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.